Hello, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. Ooh, oh, piece of hair sticking up. Hi there, in today's class we're going to look at the present perfect tense. We're going to see how it is formed, and we're going to look at the many uses of the present perfect tense this week, today, tomorrow, and the next day. At this time, we're going to be looking at perfect tenses, and we're going to start with present, and then past, and then future. Today, present perfect tense. And you guys are going to be practicing forming a sentence for each of the different uses, how and why we use present perfect tense. Hello, Luo. How are you?
Hello, Oakley. Nice to see you again.
Likewise. How are you today?
I'm great today.
Great. Nice to have you in class. Hello, Suna again.
Hi, Oakley.
Long time no see. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Nice to have you here. Jose Luis, good to see you again. Jose, hello, hello, hello.
Hi, teacher. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Thank you. How was your weekend?
Fine, teacher. I'm sad because Mexico lost the game against Netherlands. So.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, well. Yeah. C'est la vie. That's life.
Yes.
And hello, Jarek.
Hi, hello, teacher.
Hi, Jarek. Nice to see you. Where are you from, Jarek?
I'm from China.
China. Okay. Welcome to the class. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. And I'd like to welcome Ruben. Ruben, old man, what have you been
Hello,
up to?
teacher.
Hi, long time no see.
I kind of. In Mexico, it's 9 p.m.
Yeah, I'm just saying I haven't seen you in classes recently, just recently. Nice to see you again. That's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
teacher. It's because I lost my internet connection, and that's why I haven't taken classes.
Bummer. Okay. Well, nice to see you back connected and with us again. And hello.
Yes, teacher.
Hello, Vu. How are you?
Nice to see you again, teacher. I'm doing well.
Likewise. Okay, lady and gentlemen, and wait, and new gentleman. Welcome, Hyder. Hello, Hyder.
Hi, how are you, teacher?
Good. Nice to have you with us. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to do a screen share. We are going to look at present perfect tense. First of all, how it is formed. And then we are going to look at the uses and practice. All right. First, how it is formed. Pretty simple. Has or have, depending on which person we're speaking in, first, second, or third person. I have, he, she, or it has, she has, it has, or plural, they have, we have. And the past participle form of the verb. All right, very simply, you have seen that movie many times. All right, simple enough. Subject, noun. Here is the verb construction. Have seen that movie. Okay, object, noun. In the question form, as always, we're going to reverse the subject, noun, and the first auxiliary. Have here is called an auxiliary verb or helper verb. So in the question form, have you seen that movie many times? And finally, using the negative, posing the question using the negative, you have not seen that movie many times. Of course, in spoken English, we would commonly use not with have. We would create a contraction. Haven't. You haven't seen that movie many times. Would be the common way to speak this. All right. Sometimes you have, okay, you've would be contracted to you've. You've seen that movie many times. Would be reduced pronunciation, like this. You've seen that movie many times. All right. When we're speaking, of course, it's more common to actually use the contracted forms. Okay. Uses. Number one, probably the most common, an unspecified time before now. All right, here's the thing that you have to know about present perfect tense. Basically, the deal is that it has some kind of relationship to now. It is actually, although it's called present perfect, you're actually talking about the past, which has some relationship to now. All right. Here, we can use it to talk about an action that happens at an unspecified time before now. We don't, sometime in the past. The exact time is not important. You cannot use present perfect with time expressions like yesterday, 1 year ago, last week, when I was a child, when I lived in Japan, at that moment, that day. All of these are talking about a specific time in the past, in which case we would use simple past tense. We can, however, use present perfect with unspecific expressions, such as ever, never, once, many times, several times, before, so far, already, yet, etc. Okay. All right, let's look at examples to make this clearer. Here we go. I have seen that movie 20 times. All right. Even though I've seen that movie 20 times, you've seen it many times. In the diagram here, all right, that blue dot, okay, could be several blue dots. All right, he's seen it 20 times. But again, unspecified. We don't know when exactly in the past. Now, I've seen that movie 20 times. When I'm using present perfect, I consider the fact that this action has happened in the past and could very well happen again in the future. I have seen that movie 20 times up to now. I may see it 10 more times in the future. All right? So there is a relationship with now, thus making it present perfect. I think I have met him once before. Sometime in the past. Okay, very clearly, I don't know when in the past. The possibility exists that you could meet him again. So, all right, there is an element of this action could happen again. All right, that is implicit, or that is can be inferred because you're using present perfect. For example, I could, if I said, I think I met Elvis Presley once. Okay, I cannot say I think I have met Elvis Presley. Why? Because Elvis Presley is dead, and there is not a remote chance in hell I am ever going to meet Elvis Presley again. So I would never use present perfect all right, in a situation where someone is actually physically dead, for example, and, you know, there's no chance that I'm going to see him again. Okay, there have been many earthquakes in California. Again, our purple dot maybe happened repeated times. People have traveled to the moon. Okay, there's an element of the fact that they could go there again. People have not traveled to Mars. Oh, with a negative. Very likely tomorrow they won't have traveled to Mars as well. Question form, have you read the book yet? Very common to see present perfect used in question forms with yet, meaning obviously yet, meaning up to now. Again, there is some sort of a relationship with now. Nobody has ever climbed that mountain. Again, it's implied yet. All right, in a conversation form, A and B having a dialogue, has there ever been a war in the United States? Yes, there has been. In a conversation, you may omit this extra information, a war in the United States, because it's already been stated. It would be perfectly natural to answer, yes, there has been.
In speaking, right?
In speaking, yeah, yes, exactly. In speaking. In writing, you would definitely tend to write all the information, especially if you're taking a TOEFL or an IELTS test and you need a word count. You need to build your word count. You might as well write it all. Absolutely. Okay, let's, based on these examples, let's try forming our own sentences, shall we? Okay, Luo, you were first in the class, so I'm going to start with you.
I've seen your friend Michael many times.
Okay, but of course, Michael's one person, so I have seen your friend, Michael. Yeah, but okay. Other than the plural there, yeah, that's fine. Jose.
I have had 3 cars in my life.
Okay. I have had 3 cars in my life. Very good. In this case, had is the is in fact the past participle of have. All right. So exactly. It would be very common to see have had. Very good. Jarek.
Should I make up a sentence for my own?
Yes, please.
I have done this experiment before.
I have done this experiment before. Excellent. Jarek, are you a scientist?
Yes. Not in chemical lab.
Chemical lab. Yes. I'm a teacher and a detective. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Hyder. Good job, Jarek. That's perfect. Perfect example. Hyder, can you give us an example?
About what, teacher? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give us an example of a sentence using present perfect tense. I don't care what about.
Okay. I always have been angry with everything.
Really, Hyder? I always have been angry. Okay, the only thing I would change is it would be probably be better if you moved your adverb a little bit. I have always been angry.
I have always been angry. Okay.
Okay. All right, Hyder. You say so.
It's just an example, not true thing.
Sure it is, Hyder. Okay. We believe you. Okay, Vu, can you give us an example?
Yes. I haven't I haven't ever gone to Philippines.
I haven't ever gone to the Philippines. Oh, very good. Okay. Always, ever. All right. These are vague, non-specific time clauses, and yes, present perfect works very well. So, Hyder, Vu, good job. Suna.
네. I've um, I've had I've had a Chinese restaurant many times.
I have had. Did you say had?
I've had
Okay. Well, you have. All right. I have had Chinese food.
Chinese food.
Right. So, Chinese restaurant is a place. You would have to say, I have gone to a Chinese restaurant many times.
Yes.
Or I have eaten Chinese food many times. All right. Yep. Okay. Very good. Okay. Ruben, can you give me an example?
Yes, teacher. I haven't gone to the theater recently.
I haven't gone. One more. Could you say that one more time, Ruben, please?
Yes, teacher. Of course. It's said I haven't gone to the theater recently.
I haven't gone to a dinner.
To the cinema, to the theater.
Oh, to the theater. Oh, I haven't gone to the theater. Sorry, I didn't hear you. All right, I haven't gone to the theater
Recently, or
yeah.
these days.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, recently. Okay, and the recently meaning
And sadly, it's true.
the near distant past. Yeah. Sometimes it gets a little tricky. You know, about 3 years ago, I went to Hong Kong. Okay, even though I'm saying about and it's not specific, it is specific enough. I cannot say about 3 years ago I have gone to Hong Kong. It's too specific. So sometimes specific or non-specific time clauses can be tricky. Okay, Jose Luis, you had a question?
Yes, teacher. Did you say that you don't must use a specific time? If you use a specific time, you need to speak in past and write in past, or in simple past, maybe, or
Yeah, like I just said, 3 years ago I went to Hong Kong. All right, because that's a finished action in the past. All right, it's done, it's over with. So the inference when I use simple present is that it is not connected to now at all. It's over. I may never go to Hong Kong again. I went to Hong Kong 3 years ago. All right, no connection to now. I have been to Hong Kong. That would imply a connection with now. Present perfect tense. I have been to Hong Kong. There is an implication that I may go to Hong Kong again. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Sure. Please.
What's the difference between the I have been and the I have gone?
I have gone to Hong Kong. I have been to Hong Kong. Well, not much other than go, of course. The verb itself indicates movement, travel. Be means that I have been there in that place. So, you know, other than the... obviously, you could infer if I've been to Hong Kong, I had to get there somehow. I had to go there. I had to travel there. So you could... It would be obviously inferred. And you could infer if I say I have gone to Hong Kong that, in fact, I was there.
Mhm.
right? So, as far as you, the listener, very little meaning, you know.
Okay, okay.
Hyder, I have lunch today. Okay, this is weird. Not you're weird or your idea is weird, but I want to point out something to you. I see your example in the VerbLink chat box. I have lunch today. Well, I have eaten lunch today would be a perfect use of present perfect, what we're looking at. But eaten lunch, if I'm using lunch as a noun, but Hyder and everyone, actually, lunch, this is a weird thing. Breakfast and lunch can be used as a verb, but not dinner. So it is possible to say, I have lunched today.
Lunched.
Yes. Let's lunch at the Chinese place. Okay? It is possible to use, I breakfasted at McDonald's. I can actually use breakfast and lunch as a verb, but not dinner.
Oh, I see.
I have dinnered at the Chinese place. No, doesn't make any sense. That's a very strange thing. And actually, lunch can be used as a verb. Breakfast, British people probably would never use as a verb, but an American might. But dinner, nobody uses as a verb. Vu, okay, you put another example up there as a question. I have gone to Hong Kong 3 months ago. No. Nope.
Right.
Okay, 3 months ago is a very specific time. So I can count back and tell you exactly when you went there. That's a specific time phrase. So you could not use present perfect tense. You would have to say, I went to Hong Kong 3 months ago. Also, you can't use for and ago in the same clause.
Yes.
It's just impossible, because for means duration and ago means a specific time in the past, a duration in the past. So it's it's redundant. Now you can say, I went, again, you're not going to be able to use present perfect tense. I went to Hong Kong for 3 months, 2 months ago. That doesn't make sense. I went to Hong Kong for 2 months, 3 months ago. I could say that in two separate time clauses.
Yes.
Meaning that I went there 3 months ago and I stayed for 2 months and I came back 1 month ago. That's possible, but they couldn't be in the same. You could not put for and ago in the same clause. It just wouldn't work.
Yes.
And
What about for a long time, teacher?
For a long time. Yeah. Okay. The verb go. You would not use for a long time. I went to Hong Kong for a long time. Maybe, but I would probably more likely say I was in Hong Kong for a long time.
Okay, teacher.
I went to university for a long time. I guess it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's just, if you're talking about a place, it's much more likely you would use the verb to be. It's grammatically possible.
Okay.
But you cannot use present perfect. I have gone to Hong Kong for a long time. No. It would have to be simple. past.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Oh my goodness, we have. All right, now a lot to do here. Okay, so if you're thinking about the whole unspecified time here, you can think about it different ways. You can think about it to talk about different topics, like experience, like saying I have the experience of, or you've never had the experience of, but never to describe a specific event. So I went skydiving. I have gone skydiving, right? Like that. I have been to France. All right, you've had the experience. Maybe once, maybe several times, maybe it doesn't even matter. You can add the number. I've been to France 3 times. You can use a negative. I've never been to France. You can be not sure. I think I've seen that movie before. I'm not sure if I have seen that movie before or not. I could use present perfect like that. All right, he has never traveled by train. Joan has studied 2 foreign languages. Okay. So to talk about experience, to talk about a change over time. All right, a lot of you gave me examples to show experience last time. Another topic, change over time. All right, something, well, that changed over a duration of time up to now. All right, this is a little more difficult, so let's look at examples. You have grown since the last time I saw you. Okay, obviously you're seeing the person now, and obviously the change is growth. All right. Okay, up again, there's an implication of up to now, right? There's an implication that you may still keep growing. The government has become more interested in arts and education. The implication is from the past up to now. All right. Japanese has become one of the most popular courses at the university since the Asian Studies program was established. Okay. Notice 2 clauses here. Japanese has become one of the most popular courses at the university. Now, of course, this is perfectly fine as a sentence, as an independent clause, all by itself. I don't need anything else, but in this example, we've added a dependent clause. Since, with the time word since, the Asian Studies program was established. Now, this is going to be very common where you see present perfect in conjunction with another clause with simple past, especially, okay, with since. So the Asian Studies program was established. That happened. It's a finished action. And then from that point in time up to now, China has become popular. Japanese has become popular. All right. So this is very common. What can be confusing, all right, is where you have, and we'll look at this later this week, past perfect. Okay. Past perfect would be the other way around. All right. Since the Asian Studies program had been established, and here I'm using past perfect. Okay. Okay, I'm getting way in my house. No, that doesn't work. Has had been established. Oh. Okay, maybe after. After the Asian Studies program had been established, Japanese became one of the most popular courses. So, okay, in other words, there's two ways to do this kind of sentence. You can use the first thing that happens, okay, past tense, then the next thing that happens, present perfect. Or it works the other way. If the first thing that happens is past perfect, then the next thing that happens could be past. But we'll do a lot more with that in a couple of days when we look at past perfect. For now, just recognize that past thing is first. So present perfect comes more close to the future, more close to now than past. All right. Anyway, all right. My English has really improved since I moved to Australia. Okay, same thing here. All right. Talking about an action. Okay, an action that has changed over time. Maybe we could try this one because this one's a little tough. Well, actually, we've got too much to look at. Maybe we'll come back to that. Any questions about this, actually? About using it to express a change over time? You have grown, he has become.
No.
Not really? Okay, let's look at another sort of topic that we use. Okay, real quickly, I'd like to welcome Juno to the class. Hello, Juno. How are you? Okay, anyways, welcome, Juno. Accomplishments. Okay, we use present perfect to talk or even to list accomplishments of individuals and people in general, humanity. Okay, if you're going to do this, you cannot mention a specific time. As always, no specific time clauses, time phrases with present perfect. All right, man has walked on the moon before. Our son has learned how to read. Great. We don't know when it happened, but we're talking about an accomplishment. Doctors have cured many deadly diseases. All right. Scientists have split the atom. This is pretty straightforward. All right, we're talking about accomplishments. Happened before now. No specific time. Okay. Another topic. An uncompleted action you are expecting or expecting to happen. Okay, so we often use present perfect to say that an action which we expected has not happened, and we're still waiting for it to be finished. Well, even using specifically the verb finish. James has not finished his homework yet. All right, notice this sort of usage, always with the negative. We're waiting for something to happen, so the very clear relationship to now. It hasn't happened yet. Susan hasn't mastered Japanese, but she can communicate. Okay. Okay. Notice the but clause is in present tense, right? This comes after. It's interesting, but if you wanted to put things in sequence, the oldest to now, it would go something like past perfect, simple past, present perfect, present tense. There is an actual sequence of how these things are used. Each clause has its own verb, so what happens first, there actually is a sequence there. Bill has still not arrived. All right, the rain hasn't stopped until now. Okay. Something hasn't been done. All right. Another topic, multiple actions at different times. Okay. All right, we use present perfect to talk about several different actions which have occurred in the past at different times. All right, the suggestion is the process is not complete and more actions are possible, as I keep saying. I know I keep saying it, but that's the main concept of present perfect, is to realize that there is a relationship with now, and the possibility exists that it could happen again. All right. The army has attacked that city 5 times. All right. Again. Multiple, 5 times, okay. And again, the implication is it could happen again. I've had 4 quizzes and 5 tests so far this semester. All right, we've had many major problems while working on this project. She has talked to several specialists about her problem, but nobody knows why she is sick. Again, okay, nobody knows why she is sick, present tense. Okay. All right, so multiple actions at different times, but again, these actions, the main idea is really that these actions could continue. All right. Okay. Time expressions with present perfect. When we use present perfect, okay, again, something's happened before now. Sometimes we want to limit the time we are looking in for an experience. All right. We can use phrases like in the last week, in the last year. We're giving kind of a duration of time. This week, this month, so far, up to now. We're limiting the time, but we're not giving an exact time. All right. For example, have you been to Mexico in the last year? I have been to Mexico 3 times in the last year. All right. I have seen that movie 6 times in the last month. So it is possible to give a duration as a non-specific time clause. She has worked for 3 different companies so far. My car is broken down 3 times this week. All right. Please note, last year and in the last year are very different phrases. Last year means the year before now. Last year was 2013. It is considered a specific time, which means you need simple past. In the last year means 365 days, so a range of time going back to July 1st, 2013. It is not a specific time, so it requires present perfect. So, for example, I went to Mexico last year is different than I have been to Mexico in the last year. Commonly confused phrasing here. Okay,
Teacher.
finally, yes. Yes?
I have a doubt about the pronunciation. I've heard my teacher saying ven and vin. What is the correct pronunciation? Ven, like in E sound or in?
Ben,
In.
like
Ben.
here? The past
Yes.
participle of the verb to be.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, either one is acceptable. All right. Either one is perfectly acceptable. I think it's much more likely for a British speaker to say been. As an American, I always say Ben. I use a more reduced. I use the schwa sound. Well, a more reduced pronunciation. Definitely. For my American ear, I have been to Mexico in the last year. Sounds quite formal. Not really conversational. It doesn't actually make any difference. Although I'll tell you, if you're speaking to an American and you're using the beans, sometimes I won't understand you. Sometimes I don't understand my students when they say bean. But likewise, sometimes my students don't understand me when I say Ben. But I always say Ben. It's just very normal to me.
Okay.
Very neutral American accent. I've been to Mexico.
So it's more natural to say Ben. It's better. Okay.
For me, you know, I can't say for every English speaker on earth. Either pronunciation is acceptable. For Americans, they're definitely, I'm sure, more familiar with the more relaxed, reduced pronunciation. The relaxed, yeah, Ben.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much.
Not a problem. All right. Finally, a second use. Duration from the past until now for non-continuous verbs. Okay. This kind of was nearly the idea already. But we have to talk about non-continuous verbs or mixed verbs with non-continuous uses. We would default back to present perfect in some circumstances where it's going to be present perfect continuous. We're going to just use present perfect for non-continuous verbs. In other words, what I'm saying, there are verbs which we cannot use in the continuous form. Continuous form being ing form. For example, like, or hate, or love. I cannot say I was liking tennis when I was younger. I can't say that. I would have to say I liked tennis. Okay. I have been liking tennis for 3 years. I cannot say that. It's not possible. I would simply have to say I have liked tennis. I'm going to more or less default, even though perhaps I mean the verb to express a duration. I'm not going to, I can't use a continuous tense. For example, I have had a cold for 2 weeks. Okay, you know, obviously I can't say I have having a cold for 2 weeks. But I have had a cold for 2 weeks. What? Oh, that's okay. Oh. Oh yeah, okay. I have been having a cold for 2 weeks. Okay, they should show you that instead of the... all right. So present perfect continuous would be I have been having a cold for 2 weeks. That's not possible. The verb has is a mixed verb, which sometimes we can use with continuous tenses and sometimes we cannot. All right. So I cannot say I have been having a cold for 2 weeks. That doesn't make sense. She has been in England for 6 months. She has been being in England for no. That obviously I can't do that. The verb to be is a mixed verb. Mary has loved chocolate since she was a little girl. I cannot say Mary has been loving chocolate. All right. So I automatically I'm going to use present perfect tense. Okay. Here is something really weird. There are these 4 crazy words here. The words live, work, teach, and study. These are very strange words because they can be used either way, with a continuous verb or using a perfect form. Okay, and they still mean a continuous action. Okay. These are not non-continuous verbs. However, these are exception words that can be used. I can use present perfect tense. I have studied English for 3 years instead of I have been studying English for 3 years. Even though I am actually talking about a duration of time, I would still use present perfect tense. These are weird exceptions. You will run into these, and I run into these all the time teaching these lessons about perfect or continuous, and students say, but why? Because these are weird English exceptions, but very, very common verbs, very commonly used in classrooms, especially teach, study. Okay. All right. Normal adverb placement, and pretty much always correct between the helper verb and the past participle. You have only seen that movie one time. Have you only seen that movie one time? If that's a lesson for a whole nother day. Adverb placement, they can be placed in other places, but it often changes meaning. Basically, grammar adverbs specifically, such as always, only, never, ever, still, just. This is where they should be. All right, last thing here. Passive form, and you guys are going to try this. Active form, many tourists have visited that castle. Fine, that's an active form using present perfect. Okay, the subject noun does the action. That castle is the object. The action happens to that castle. In a passive form, the action happens to the subject. Now that castle is the subject. The form has been visited. All right, with been, has been visited by many tourists. This is a prepositional phrase. I'm adding who did the action, but actually in the passive form, I don't really care who did the action. It's not necessary. That castle has been visited by many tourists. Using this as an example, let's try to make a passive sentence with passive present perfect. Luo, can you try that?
Yes. Your friend has been met by one friend of mine.
Okay. Your friend has been met by the police at the train station. Yeah. Okay, your friend has been met maybe by another friend of mine. Might be clearer. Okay, but yes, you definitely got the passive present perfect. Great. Jose Luis, you want to try making a passive?
Maybe I has been ate vegetables.
Wait a minute. It can't be I has.
I
I
have,
have.
sorry. I have been ate vegetables the last month. Maybe I'm not sure.
Ah, no, vegetables have been eaten.
Eaten, eat,
Yeah, the
eh,
the action happens to the subject in a passive sentence. So vegetables have been eaten.
eaten. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But my sentences was correct or not?
No, because you're using ate instead of eaten. You have to use the past participle, not just simple, not past tense. Past
How I can
participle, eaten.
how I can become to passive time?
Sorry?
How I become these sentences in passive passive and become. Is possible or not?
Okay, I'm not sure if I caught everything. I think you had a little connection problem.
Can you
Become
become yes or change my sentences in the correct form? Is possible or not?
all sentences?
My sentences, the sentences that I use, but I have been what
Okay.
verb in vegetables. Is possible to change or not?
Oh no, because the action is not happening to you. Um, you have been eaten. That would mean you were eaten. I have been eaten by wolves. That means wolves ate you.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
So you can't start with I, not with ate, unless you were eaten. Um, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. I'm confused actually.
Okay, I give you a sentences and you
Uh,
say me that that is not correct.
right.
How I can how I can check for make these sentences in the correct?
Okay. Vegetables have been eaten by me.
Okay, this is my
Uh,
question. This was my question. Okay.
okay. Of course, that would be, sometimes passive sentences are not really appropriate. This sounds goofy. It sounds silly, right? You would just use I have been eating my vegetables. Actually, you probably wouldn't even use, well, you might use present perfect continuous tense in active form, probably.
Okay.
Uh, okay. But grammatically speaking, this sentence is correct now. Vu, can you give me a passive form?
Yes. My laptop has been only used one time.
My laptop?
Yes. Have been
Oops.
has has been only used one time.
Okay. My laptop has been only used one time. Okay. Uh,
Is it right, teacher?
I would swap this. You notice the adverb follows the first auxiliary. I would actually move this
Has
to here. Okay. has only been used one time. That sounds much better to me. My laptop has only been used one time. Okay, and that's fine. All right, that is definitely... We don't know who used it, and it doesn't matter. It's a passive sentence. This makes sense in a passive form. So, other than adverb placement, that's good. Ruben, can you give me an example of a passive present perfect?
Yes. The bank has been broken into.
The bank has been broken into. Right. We don't know who did it. It's a mystery. The police are still investigating. So another case where passive actually makes sense because we don't know who the subject is. So that's a very good example. The bank has been broken into. Yes. And we don't know exactly when. 3 in the morning, 6 in the morning. That is a perfect example of when somebody might use a passive present perfect. Okay, are there any last questions? Questions?
Teacher,
Yes.
why some verbs like live, work, teach, and study are non-continuous verbs?
Why do some books...
Um, um,
What
la,
about non-continuous verbs?
oh, I mistake. Sorry, teacher. I I risk incorrectly. Sorry,
Okay.
teacher. Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you okay? Okay, I have to go because I'm going to be late for my next class here at Verb Links. So thank you.